Warm greetings, dear watcher. There are moments in public discourse when a single voice cuts through the noise with clarity and compassion, reminding us what it truly means to be a role model. That voice belonged to Jacqui Smith, the former Home Secretary of the United Kingdom, during a televised debate about Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. While another participant, Ann Widdecombe, launched a harsh personal attack, Smith stood firm, offering a powerful, evidence-based defense that celebrated Meghan Sussex, not as a flawless icon, but as a genuine human being who consistently chooses to help others. The debate's essence was captured in a tweet. Quote, "She doesn't have to help others, but she chooses to do so." Jacqui Smith thinks it's fair to call Meghan Markle a role model. It's also fair to say that Ann Widdecombe doesn't agree. This clash was not merely about one woman's opinion, it was a profound disagreement over what society should value in public figures. And in that disagreement, Jacqui Smith emerged as a voice of reason, fairness, and deep respect for Meghan Sussex's lifelong commitment to service. To understand why Smith's praise is so meaningful, we must first acknowledge the harshness of the opposing view. Ann Widdecombe, a former conservative minister known for her unyielding social conservatism, has long been a critic of Meghan Sussex. She once described the then-fiancé of Prince Harry as trouble, referencing her background in a comment widely condemned as racist. Widdecombe has also opposed Meghan and Harry's advocacy for decriminalizing homosexuality across the Commonwealth, a stance that aligns with her previous statements calling homosexual acts wrongful. On the debate stage, when asked whether Meghan Sussex is a role model, Widdecombe did not hesitate. She declared her a role model of everything that you don't want to be, called her incredibly self-centered, very self-absorbed, and accused her of having a very loose relation sometimes with the truth, which she describes as her truth. Widdecombe concluded that there is no such thing as individual truth. There's truth and there's falsehood. These are brutal, unfiltered accusations, delivered without a shred of evidence or nuance. But then Jacqui Smith spoke, and her words were a masterclass in positive, principled defense. Smith did not shout. She did not insult Widdecombe. Instead, she calmly reframed the entire conversation. She doesn't have to help others, but she chooses to do so, Smith said. Those 11 words are a celebration of Meghan's agency, her character, and her repeated decisions to put compassion into action. Smith's point is simple yet profound. A role model is not someone who is perfect or who has never made a mistake. A role model is someone who, despite having every excuse to walk away, consistently chooses to use their platform for good. And by that measure, Meghan Sussex is not just a role model, she is an exemplary one. Smith's positive framing immediately shifted the debate from Meghan's personality to her actions, from subjective judgments to observable facts. And the facts, as Smith knows, overwhelmingly support Meghan's status as a force for good. The debate was triggered by a specific event. Meghan had just delivered a speech at a major international youth summit in the UK, her first public address on British soil since stepping back from royal duties. In that speech, she spoke about the power of young people to drive positive change, about her journey as a mother, and about the importance of using one's voice even when it is uncomfortable. She did not attack anyone, she did not complain, she simply encouraged others to build a better world. For Jacqui Smith, that act alone was worthy of praise. For Widdecombe, it was evidence of self-absorption. Smith's positive framing recognizes that public advocacy, especially from someone who has endured relentless media hostility, is an act of courage, not narcissism. And that is the lens through which the rest of the script will view Meghan Sussex, through Jacqui Smith's affirming, fair, and deeply humanizing eyes.
She's had a record, Meghan Markle, of working on behalf of others and of being a role model. We can't be what we can't see. For some young women, seeing somebody successful like that who's gone through all of the pressures that she's gone through and has come out still trying to inspire others, will be an inspiration. So good for her for being willing to. She doesn't have to do that. She could just sit earning money, being quiet.
How
But
does
she
she
wants
earn
to
money?
help
She
others.
earns money by not being quiet. That's the point.
Is she,
As do we, Anne.
Yeah,
in fact.
indeed.
is she has she told fibs in the past? I'm just thinking about the racist stuff about the royal family, saying that members of the royal
contradict
press
each other.
pack in Britain used the N-word. I don't know. It doesn't sound.
Well, I don't know the truth of that, but I mean, what is it about? Meghan Markle is the first, woman of colour who's come into the royal family. She hasn't had a good experience, so
Well, nor's the royal family had a good experience of her.
No,
quite
but maybe
honestly.
Jacqui's right. Maybe we just start with Meghan's account, because we've not had an account from inside the royal family like this before.
Well, we had contradictory accounts, for example, on the racism thing between Harry and Meghan, and it was only because she was given a patsy interview that wasn't challenged at the time. I'm sorry, I am not impressed. I think we all took her to our hearts when she came over.
Now, having heard the raw exchange, we turn fully to Jacqui Smith's positive case for Meghan Sussex as a role model. Smith did not rely on empty compliments or emotional appeals. She grounded her praise in a long, verifiable history of Meghan's charitable work that began long before she ever met Prince Harry, long before she became a duchess, and long before anyone was paying attention. This is crucial because it dismantles Widdecombe's accusation that Meghan's service is merely performative or self-serving. If Meghan were truly self-absorbed, why would she have spent her childhood, her young adulthood, and her years as a working actress quietly helping others? The answer is simple. Because helping others is who she is, and Jacqui Smith recognized that truth. Let us walk through the evidence that Smith implicitly or explicitly drew upon. At 11 years old, Meghan Sussex saw a television advertisement for dish soap that she believed was sexist. It showed only women doing household chores. Instead of ignoring it, she wrote letters of protest to the company and to First Lady Hillary Clinton. The company changed the ad. That is not the action of a self-centered person. That is the action of a child who already understood that words have power and that using one's voice can create change. As a teenager and young adult, Meghan volunteered at a soup kitchen in Los Angeles called the Dream Center, serving meals to homeless individuals. She did this without any publicity. She did this because she wanted to alleviate suffering. After graduating from Northwestern University with a double major in theater and international studies, she took an internship at the United States Embassy in Buenos Aires, demonstrating a genuine interest in global affairs. She then began her acting career, but she never stopped serving. She traveled to Rwanda with World Vision to support clean water projects. She visited Afghanistan to boost the morale of troops stationed there. She wrote about her experiences as a biracial woman in Hollywood, advocating for representation and against casual racism. When Meghan Sussex became engaged to Prince Harry, she did not abandon her commitment to service. Instead, she amplified it. Her first solo project as a royal was the Together, Our Community Cookbook, which supported the Hub Community Kitchen, a group of women, many of them Muslim refugees, who had come together to cook meals for their neighbors after the Grenfell Tower fire killed 72 people. Meghan did not just pose for a photo. She spent hours in the kitchen with those women, listening to their stories, helping to compile their recipes, and ensuring that the cookbook's proceeds went directly to their cause. The book became a bestseller. It provided funding for the kitchen to expand. That is service, not performance. Jacqui Smith would have looked at that project and seen exactly what it was, a woman using her platform to lift up others, asking nothing in return. Then came the years of relentless media abuse. British tabloids published racist headlines about Meghan's exotic DNA. They compared her to characters from King Kong. They printed a private letter she wrote to her estranged father without her consent. They subjected her to a level of scrutiny that, as she later revealed, drove her to suicidal thoughts. And when she asked for help from the royal institution, she was denied. Eventually, she and Prince Harry made the painful decision to step back from royal duties and move to California. Many people in her position would have retreated entirely from public life. They would have focused on their children, their home, their mental health, and never spoken publicly again. No one would have blamed them. But Meghan Sussex did not retreat. She continued to choose service. That, for Jacqui Smith, is the heart of why she is a role model. Through the Archewell Foundation, Meghan and Harry have supported disaster relief efforts in Turkey and Syria after devastating earthquakes. They have partnered with World Central Kitchen to provide meals to communities in crisis. They have created a fund to support Afghan refugees, many of whom worked alongside American forces and were left behind after the withdrawal. They have launched the Parent Network to support families whose children have been harmed by social media. These are not photo opportunities. These are substantial, ongoing commitments that require time, money, and emotional energy. Meghan Sussex does not have to do any of this. She is a private citizen. She is not paid for her charitable work. She receives no taxpayer funding. Everything she does is a choice. And as Jacqui Smith so beautifully put it, she chooses to help others. That is the definition of a role. Jacqui Smith's positive defense of Meghan Sussex is not just fair, it is necessary. In a media environment that has often vilified the Duchess, Smith offered a corrective rooted in facts, compassion, and a clear moral framework. She did not deny that Meghan has flaws. She did not claim that every word Meghan has ever spoken is beyond question. Instead, she argued that role models are not judged by perfection, but by their choices. And Meghan's choices, across decades, have consistently been to serve. Smith's approach is a model for how to evaluate public figures honestly. Look at what they do, not just what people say about them. By that standard, Meghan Sussex shines. Let us address the specific criticisms Widdecombe raised and show how Smith's positive framing answers them. Widdecombe called Meghan self-absorbed, but a self-absorbed person does not spend hours in a community kitchen with Grenfell survivors. A self-absorbed person does not travel to earthquake zones to help distribute meals. A self-absorbed person does not quietly support refugee families. Meghan's actions prove otherwise. Widdecombe accused Meghan of having a loose relationship with the truth. But when Meghan spoke about a royal family member expressing concern about her unborn child's skin color, that was not her truth in a subjective sense. It was an account of a real conversation. When she described the media's racist treatment, that was a description of documented events. Smith's positive perspective recognizes that dismissing Meghan's experiences as false is itself a form of denial. Widdecombe claimed there is no individual truth, but there is such a thing as individual experience, and Meghan's experiences of racism, of suicidal ideation, of being denied help are real. Acknowledging them is not self-indulgence, it is honesty. Moreover, Jacqui Smith's praise extends to Meghan's courage in speaking about mental health. When Meghan revealed that she had suicidal thoughts during her time as a working royal, she broke a powerful taboo. In many circles, especially within the British aristocracy, mental health is a private matter. By sharing her story, Meghan encouraged countless others to seek help. She normalized the conversation. She saved lives. That is not self-absorption, that is the opposite. A truly self-absorbed person would keep such pain hidden to protect their image. Meghan risked further criticism to help others who might be suffering in silence. Jacqui Smith would argue, rightly, that this alone makes her a role model. The debate between Smith and Widdecombe was ultimately a clash between two worldviews. Widdecombe represents an old, unforgiving vision, where public figures, especially women, must be silent, humble, and grateful for whatever treatment they receive. In that vision, speaking up about mistreatment is seen as complaining, and advocating for oneself is seen as selfish. Jacqui Smith represents a modern, humane vision where public figures can be imperfect, can speak their truth, and can still be celebrated for their service. Smith's vision acknowledges that role models are not statues, they are living, breathing humans who struggle, make mistakes, and learn. And Meghan Sussex, by choosing again and again to help others despite enormous personal cost, embodies that vision perfectly. Let us also note that Jacqui Smith's praise is not blind. She has acknowledged that the royal family's internal dynamics are complex and that Meghan may have made missteps. But Smith's point is that missteps do not erase a lifetime of service. If we demand absolute perfection from role models, we will have no role models at all. What matters is the overall pattern of a person's life, and the pattern of Meghan Sussex's life is unmistakable. From an 11-year-old girl writing letters against sexist ads, to a duchess supporting Grenfell survivors, to a private citizen helping Afghan refugees, she has consistently chosen compassion over comfort, action over apathy, and service over silence. That is why Jacqui Smith is right to call her a role model. In the end, the television debate may have been forgotten by many, but the truth that Jacqui Smith articulated endures. She doesn't have to help others, but she chooses to do so. Those words are a celebration of free will, of moral agency, of the human capacity for goodness, and they apply perfectly to Meghan Sussex. She could have stayed silent, she could have stayed private, she could have focused only on herself and her family, but she did not. She chose to help. And that choice, repeated thousands of times over a lifetime, is what makes her not just a duchess, not just a former actress, not just a mother, but a genuine role model. Jacqui Smith saw that clearly. And now, dear watcher, so can you.